Good afternoon. This is Grace Grannies, and I'm Tina.
I'm Sharon.
I'm Jane.
And we are going to talk about canning memories, and from our grandmothers or from our own. And we've got some funny stories. And I am going to go ahead and let Jane start first with some of yours.
I I did sauerkraut in a jar,
Uh-huh.
a canning jar.
Yeah.
And I just did the cabbage up,
Yeah. Yeah.
grated it,
Yeah.
real good,
Yeah.
and then put vinegar and salt
Yeah.
and something else.
And so did it do good for you?
Yeah.
Well,
It made sauerkraut.
yeah. And so how long did you keep it? How long did it take for it to do that?
About ever how long the pressure cooker.
Okay. So you had to put it in the pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you did it with pressure cooker. So tell me some funny moments of your memories with your grandmother, or did she can?
She can.
Uh-huh.
This is funny.
Okay.
I don't know how she did it, but she had a big number 2 wash tub, and she made buttermilk in that number 2 wash tub.
Uh-huh.
And she made buttermilk, and she froze that buttermilk.
Really?
Yes.
So what'd she do? Stir it or?
Well, you have to stir it, and get everything just like making butter.
Well, I don't know anything about making butter.
Do you get
So it wasn't one of those things that
No.
you do like that.
so do you get certain milk from the milk cow? You get the cream off the top
The
of
cream
it
off
to
the
do
top.
buttermilk,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put it in the wash tub,
Mm-hmm.
and then do you add anything with it?
I'm not sure what she added. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if she added anything.
So she was able to just freeze that, and it was all right when it unthawed.
Yeah.
Well.
Tastes like regular milk.
Yeah.
But I don't like buttermilk.
Yeah. Well, one of mine was I've never had nobody show me how to can, but I remember having such comfort and peace with my grandmother because she would have us grandkids come and help her break the green beans and shuck the corn
Right.
and that kind of thing. She'd show us exactly how to do it. But I remember the comfort that I felt, when I was there helping her, because it would just spark all kinds of different conversations.
Right.
We did corn on the cob.
Yes.
Cut the corn off the cob.
Uh-huh.
Me and Mama did it.
Yeah.
And Granny did it. Just cut it off the cob and then put it in the can. And
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yes, and that was fun.
I don't know if my grandmother would ever give me a knife and let me do
yeah.
that. That would have been dangerous for me and my brothers, I think.
Yeah.
But when I did my first pickles that I ever did, my first batch of pickles came out really good. I did about 12 quart jars of those because I was raising some cucumbers. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, that was easy, and I'm going to do some more. So then I went to do some more, and I thought, I'm going to do a bigger batch. So I got a bigger pot. And I didn't know this, but it was my aluminum pot. The first one I did with a stainless steel pot.
Wow.
And so I did it, and then I put them in the cabinet and everything. And then I was just, for some reason, just reading something else on the directions, and right down at the bottom of it, it says, don't use aluminum paint pots. And I thought, well, why? So I got my pickles back, a jar of them back out, and opened them up and tasted them, and they tasted just like aluminum.
They didn't seal either, did they? Or did they?
I don't know if they sealed or
Yeah.
not, but they tasted just like aluminum. And I had to pull them out and pour every one of them down. Those were the last pickles I did. So I know not to have an aluminum pan for doing anything in now, but that was a hard lesson.
Right.
Yeah. What about you, Sharon?
Well, I know that Grandma had a big garden. Her grandpa would plant a big garden every year. And when my husband and I got married, we would go down and we would help Grandma in the garden. Well, he would go hunting or go fishing with his cousins, and I'd stay and help Grandma. And we'd go out and we'd pick all the vegetables that we needed. And like you said, in the evening when everybody come back in, we would break green beans, or we'd shell butter beans or purple hull peas and get all the vegetables ready. And then when we had lots of different kinds of vegetables, we'd can soup.
Yes.
And we would get a big dish pan, and put on top of the stove. and cooks the vegetables a little bit. I don't know how many minutes. There was a certain amount of time that you did that, and then you would put them in canning jars and put them in the canner and can them. And so that was fun.
Yeah.
But it was fun just sitting around everybody in the living room and working on the vegetables, just having fellowship.
Absolutely.
And talking.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we've got Peggy here with us. She's not in the video, but you're going to tell about something about tomatoes that happened.
I was pregnant for our second daughter, and I was sitting out there probably harassing my husband. He's picking tomatoes. So he's lopping the rotten ones at us, you know, my other daughter. And something made her mad, so she's marching over to me as he's got one mid-air. It's mid-air, and it lands right on her head. And, oh, man, the look. And I took her in the house, and I said, Charity, you gotta laugh. Look in the mirror. You gotta laugh. Look at this. All over her face.
That's right. That's right. You know, I remember my mom raised a garden. Finally moved to the country, and she had a big old place in the back she could raise a garden. Well, my mom had just had my little brother who was like 6 months old. And I went outside, and when I did, this is when we first moved down to the country. When I went outside, I got attacked by a bunch of fire ants. And so that scared me to death to where I didn't want to go down to the garden at all.
Yeah.
And so my mom says, well, because I was 10 years old at that time. And she said, well, you just stay up here and take care of Harold, and we'll go down there and do that. So I never wanted to work in a garden again after that.
There was a snake in the garden. Of course, snakes in the gardens all the time. You know, you just walk over them or walk around them.
Yeah.
But they won't hurt you, but they make you want to hurt yourself to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And they were right there in that tomato, eating a tomato. And I walked right up on that thing and got that tomato and threw it over that way, and the snake just went shh.
Did it? Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, garden snake.
Yeah. Well, I don't want any kind of snakes.
They make you hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm. And then I also know that with when my first husband passed away, and I had never done jelly before. I don't know why I decided to do this. Maybe because when I did the pickles and stuff, I enjoyed doing it. It was kind of comforting, and so I had gotten some. What's those? Anyway, I did all kinds of jelly. I would go to the store and get strawberries or whatever, you know, and just do the jelly. And I just kept doing it because in my grief, it brought comfort to sit there and just do that jelly, and knowing that there was something that I could do, because there wasn't nothing I could do about losing my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so that it brought comfort. It brought me comfort.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's ever brought you comfort as far as canning.
Well, I know it brought fellowship.
Yeah.
Because Grandma and Grandpa, their grown kids would come in, and that we would all gather in the living room, and we knew in the evening after supper that we were going to, shuck corn or break green beans or shell peas. But I also remember you talking about making jelly. We would go, the men would go, but I like to go with them too and hunt for muscadines. And that's usually around September. And they had the vines growing up in the trees down on the farm. And we would go down there and ride in the pickup truck and go gather muscadines. Yeah. And then bring them back. And I remember my mother-in-law and grandma would go in there and wash the muscadines real good and get them ready to make muscadine jelly.
The muscadine jelly. You know, and I had never thought about what you had said, something about putting a sheet underneath the muscadine.
Yes, they would put a sheet out on the ground. Sometimes they put that big sheet out on the ground and they would shake that vine. Yeah. And they would all come down and we'd go gather them up.
And here I picked every one of mine. I didn't know to do something like that.
Well, we didn't every time, you know.
But I love that. I love muscadine jelly, and I love blackberry.
Oh, yeah, we made
jam
blackberry,
too.
yes.
But I remember when I was probably about 15, we would go and pick blackberries, and at that time we could actually get $10. $10, I think it was a quart. $10 a quart for them. That was a lot of money for, you know, back in 77, 78. But we sure got some sugars.
Yes.
We sure got some chiggers.
Well, it gets really hot too when blackberry season comes in. And I remember we was down on the farm and we was going through the woods and I got really hot and we'd been picking for a couple of hours. And I got so hot I thought I was gonna pass out. And I remember that they had to carry me to the bank and we was by the creek and get water and put on me and cool me down because I thought I was fixing to have a heat stroke.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful how you get to picking berries
Yeah.
and you're having fun and it's almost like a race. You wanna get as much as the other one does. And so you forget about what time it is or how long you've been out there.
Yeah.
But it sure was a lot of fun just to get all that and make the jelly when you got back.
Yeah. So you was never really around your mom when she canned. Did she
Mama
can?
didn't can.
Yeah.
My mom's mother and dad ran a grocery store. And then I never knew my granny on my other side that she lived up in the mountains of Kentucky. And I don't know. I know she had a garden, but I don't know if she can because I didn't meet her till I was 25.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let me ask y'all something. Is it really cheaper to can than it is just to go and buy the tomatoes or I know it's better. I know it tastes better, but is it really cheaper?
No.
I don't think it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But it's healthier.
Yeah. Well, I know used to, like I've got canning jars back there saved, in case I ever want to can or whatever, and they used to save those canning jars. You didn't have to just go buy new ones every time you decided to can.
I think it's healthier and you also know exactly what's in it. And there's no additives. You don't put all the chemicals in it to try to keep it because you've cooked it yourself and it's on the shelf and it makes you feel good to be able to go.
It does.
And
It makes
out
you
of
feel
pantry.
good to look and see all that.
Yes.
Peggy, was it cheaper for you to can?
No. No. One time I was so disgusted. I had a pressure canner and I had 7 jars and one of them bust. And I'm like, I did all that work for 6 jars.
Uh-huh.
And so there's times that you don't.
Yeah.
But I do have a funny story. I forgot about our son David had never been in a cornfield, and we went to a farmer's place, and they said we could go out and pick corn. So we went out there, and he was so excited seeing all this corn growing up in the cornfield. He was just so excited. He even thanked the people when we went to leave. Thanked them for letting us pick corn. I wish he would have stayed that way.
Yeah. And I've got a truthful story, and I really kind of want to share it, but I don't know if I will because you may look at me differently after I share it. And so it's about the corn. And so I don't know if I told y'all, but I think Anyway, so I actually had to spend 30 days in jail when I was 18.
I don't think I've heard this story.
I had to spend 30 days in jail because of picking corn. Now my mom and my dad always told me stories about going in the cornfield and getting corn, and taking it home. And then I had heard that you could get the first 3 or 4 rows of the corn on the edge. They'd have to give it to the animals and stuff as they'd come along traveling and stuff and people and stuff. And I thought, well, I'm going to get me some corn. My grandfather, he says, go get us some corn. And so here we go and get it. It's at nighttime. I guess I knew not to get it in the daytime. And so one of my friends and I went to get corn. And so we went inside, and we probably went in a little farther than the 4 or 5 rows. I don't know if that's still true. It may, I don't know. But anyway, so we went in, and when we did, as we was getting our corn in our bags, we had these little rough bags that we was going to put the corn in. And so when we went in, then all of a sudden we heard a shot and flashlights. Flashlight went on, we heard a shot of a gun shooting up in the air, and I mean, that that scared the far out of us. I might have peed my pants, I don't know. But anyway, so, so then the people that owned the cornfield had been having those that would come in with trucks and fill up the back of their truck with corn and take it off to another town or something and sell it. And so they had set up waiting for them to come back. We just happened to come and get some corn.
Mm.
And so they had to use us as an example, they said. And so me and my girlfriend got 30 days in jail. And and I called my mom, and because my mom they told me about mom and dad going in and getting corn, and so and I had to stay in jail overnight, but then she came and got me.
So you didn't have to stay the whole 30 days?
No, I did. I went to court a year later. A year later, I went to court, and I had to. They gave me 30 days.
Wow.
Mm.
She got me out of jail, but we had to go to court the next. So I hope you don't think anything wrong with me. I've never taken corn no much since then. And I definitely didn't can it. I'm sure the corn was sitting right there, or they took it or whatever. I didn't even get the corn.
Mm.
Anyway, so that's just a funny story. For me, it was they didn't put it on my record, but I had to do the time.
Mm.
And so, y'all have any more? You ladies said y'all had a bunch of stories that I wouldn't have to remind y'all of anything.
Well, I know that we would go out to pick strawberries at Grandma's house, and the deer would be out in the garden, And I don't know if they eat the strawberries or not, but they sure did like to come out in the garden while, in the strawberry patch.
Yeah.
And I just loved it going to Grandma's. And I remember one year they had a garden across the highway, and they planted it with a lot of squash. And I know that Grandma would fill up her freezer, and then all her family would come and get what they needed and fill up their freezer if they didn't have a garden. And then Grandma would let people come and get what was in the garden, what was left, so they could have things.
Yeah.
And that's how they did in the country. You try to help other people and reach out to other people.
Yeah. Well, I remember going with my grandmother to pick green beans, and I enjoyed that fellowship. And I think that's what it was when I was doing the jelly after my husband had passed away, and it was just bringing comfort. I really believe that I was just sitting there having fellowship with the Lord. I think I was just talking to the Lord and just relaxing. That's all I had to do, and I think that's what it was.
Well, when you're working in the kitchen and you're working with all these vegetables or fruits or whatever you're canning, or if you're making jelly, what was fun about it, because I had never canned before, and this was when I first started helping Grandma, and this was my husband's grandmother in Mississippi. When we got through with the canning, and we would go sit down in the living room and just be sitting and talking, you would hear the cans pop. Yeah. And we began to try to keep count. When we would hear them seal, they would make a pop noise, and they would seal. And I just loved that. I just thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
I never canned before, and I just thought it was great. I wanted to keep up with how many sealed.
Yeah. What advice would you have for young ladies that might think about canning?
Well, I think it's fun, and I think it's, very educational to be able to learn to can and put up food, because you never know, you may have to sometime. We don't know what's going to happen.
That's right. They used to have home ec.
Yes.
In school, and they would teach them different things, and they don't teach any of that no more.
Mm-mm.
And so we may have to do something like that. We may have to teach something.
That would be fun.
It would.
But you have to be careful with the pressure canners.
Yes.
Pressure cookers, pressure canners. You got to know what you're doing, because, you have to keep an eye on them and set them a certain way.
Well, I think that's the reason I did the cucumbers, the pickles, and the tomatoes, and the jelly. I didn't use pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it that way. I boiled the jars and just in boiling water.
Well, when I do my tomatoes, that's all I do.
Yeah.
But certain things you have to use the pressure canner, because it has to cook at a certain temperature.
Yeah.
So it'll seal good.
Well, Jane, you said that you love to be around canning and the farm and gardening and all that kind of stuff.
I can't wait till the farm comes in.
And the animals.
And the animals.
Yes.
I love to feed animals and, stuff like that.
We was talking about Freedom Camp. That's what Jane's talking about, is Freedom Camp. And we know it's getting soon for the Lord to bring that in, and tell them a little bit about Freedom Camp.
Well,
Some of what you've pictured and.
the Lord has shown me visions of part of the Freedom Camp and some of it. And it was a huge piece of land, big piece of land, as far as I could see. And at first it was going to be 16 acres, but then it's bigger. I really know in my heart it's a lot bigger than that. But I saw the land marked off, and then the Lord showed me there's going to be a well on the land. I know there's going to be animals on the land. And I know that the Lord showed me that not to feed the deer. I don't know why, but we're not to feed the deer when we get the land. I don't know if something's going to happen or what. I know that we were canning.
No, he said don't eat the deer.
Don't eat the deer.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
sorry,
supposed
that's
to feed
right.
the deer. Yeah.
We're supposed to feed the deer
Outside of the camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the woods at the end of the camp. Feed the deer, but don't eat the deer. And I don't know why, but we weren't supposed to eat the deer.
Yeah.
But I know we're going to have animals. I know we're going to have a well. I know there's going to be where we're going to be raising food for everybody.
Uh-huh.
And so that's a little bit of what God has shown me about that.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah. Tell what happened. We'll end this, but tell what happened with your turnip greens and when the Lord started calling us to do this and different things.
Year before last, the Lord was trying to get my attention and tell me to rest. And I love to quilt and I love to can. So I was making quilts. I was really into making a lot of quilts at the time. But I also had ordered different produce from the farm. And it's a farm up past Manchester, I believe. I don't know exactly the name of the little town. But the year before, I'd ordered some from the farm, and the vegetables were really good. So I ordered turnip greens because it was time for them to come in, and I told them I'd pick them up. And so I had been out of town, and I had just come back, and I went to pick up the turnip greens, and I was working on them. And we were having Friday class, Friday coffee and prayer here at Tina's house. And before I left that morning, I put up 6 quarts of turnip greens in the freezer. I would cook them, and then I would freeze them. And so I was going to finish the rest of them when I got back, but the Holy Spirit spoke to me and told me to stop. Well, I stopped right then, and he wanted me to go ahead and come to class, and he had told me something to do. And so I stopped, and I came to class, and I did that. But when I got back after class was over, I thought I'm going to start on the turnip greens again and finish them because I had bought a lot of turnip greens. I had a big crate that they were in, and so I started getting, and they were beautiful turnip greens. I started getting them out to put them in the sink to wash, and I put my hands in mush. They had rotted. They had turned yellow and rotted just in the time that I drove over to Tina's about 15 minutes away and went back after class was over and started to wash them, and there was no more. And the Holy Spirit let me know. He meant for me to stop. He didn't mean to just stop. He meant for me not to do turnip greens anymore. I had to quit quilting because the Lord wanted me to spend time with him in prayer and time with him in the Word because he was calling me to a ministry for the camp.
Yep. So you got something else to share?
No.
You had to milk the cows, didn't you?
Oh, tell us about that. Tell us about milking the cows. What time you got up and what was involved?
Well, you had to be at the barn at 2:00, which meant you had to get up about an hour ahead of time to go to the dry lot to get them, to bring them up.
Yeah.
To, milk them.
Yeah.
So they were on the little parter thing there, and they come through the barn, and you just take a water hose and you spray them off, wash them off, wash your tits off real good. This cow come in, she pooped all over, her tail was soaking wet.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing but poop. And I mean, she just wrapped that, swatted that thing and wrapped it plumb around my neck into my face. I almost...
Oh my goodness, what'd you do?
Well, I just stopped milking and went over and cut the milker off and got the paper towels and water and washed my face real good and went home and took a good shower after milking.
Oh my goodness, tell us about that time when the cow kicked you.
cow kicked me. And she knocked me plumb across the barn, hit me right in the breast and knocked me plumb across the barn. And the man that owned the place got the ball bat and beat that cow. Beat her legs and stuff, just kept beating her. And then finally I had to make him stop. You know, I said, that's enough. He says she's got to learn a lesson not to do that. And she never, she come up over that metal bar, up over top of that bar, and kicked me right in the breast and knocked me plumb across.
She ever do anything like that again?
Never did.
Because that beating reminded her not to, didn't it?
Yes, she never did.
Yeah. Wow.
I have a funny cow story. Ed went to work on a farm, and he thought, these cows have the weirdest tails.
They have what?
The weirdest tails. Some were, like a Z shape, and some were half gone, and he thought, what's wrong with these cows? He'd worked on a dairy farm before and never saw cows like this. Well, one day, the cow did the same thing to the owner, and that owner took his hand and he went, and he broke that cow's tail. And that's why all the tails looked Z-shaped or half gone.
I guess that reminded them not to do that again, didn't it?
Yes, I don't know, but that's like, that was the weirdest cows he'd
I
ever
don't know
seen.
if I may not look at a cow's tail the same.
I don't know about all that.
Was you around animals, Sharon?
No, I was not around farm animals.
Well,
it's something to go to a cow place, you know, a big farm, and go in and watch how they're done.
Yeah.
And then they go out into the parlor and they got feed in the troughs and they eat. And then you put hay and stuff in there, and it's amazing to watch something like that.
Well, I know, Sharon, you've got sheep.
Across the road.
Right across the road.
Right, they've got a lot of sheep.
Yeah.
And then they've got donkeys with them. And then they've got some type of pheasants that are growing, there with them, and they all just get along good together.
Yeah. Well, the one, what I like is the fainting sheep. Is the baby sheep, the fainting. Call them what?
It's goats.
Oh, goats.
The fainting goats.
Fainting goats. Well, what's the difference?
That's the difference.
I know there's a difference between the sheep and the goat. The fainting goats, yes, the fainting goats.
Yeah.
And I feel guilty sometimes because I get such fun out of watching them, when you make a noise and them just fall over.
I'll tell you this, I was artificial inseminating a cow one time.
Really? How do you do that?
Yes, they taught me how to do that. You put a glove on way up here, and you just reach inside her uterus, and you artificial inseminate that egg into her with a little gun, and you just pour it, and it shoots that little egg in there. But you have to get it in the right place for it to take.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh,
I didn't like it when she pooped.
No, I like it. You don't. Jane knows more. Jane knows a lot about a farm.
A bunch of animals, and I sure don't.
That's gonna be good when we get the freedom count, because she may be in charge.
In charge of the animals.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember riding in the pickup truck, my husband's uncle Leroy, and we'd have hay and we'd feed the cows, and when they would come up to the truck, running up toward the truck or something, I was glad I was in the truck and they was out there.
Well, now we're talking about animals now, and so I got a memory of when I laid out of school. Me and some of my friends laid out of school, and we couldn't get on the road, so we would be going through the fields and stuff to get to another road or different things like that. And so I got into this one field and it had barbed wire fence around it. Didn't realize it had pigs, and so it had pigs in it. So pigs started chasing me. So I started running to the fence, and when I did, I tried to jump over, and I got one of those barbed wires caught in my leg, and I still have that scar to this day. But I know I shouldn't have been laying out of school, but we did do those things.
She's telling off on herself.
We did do those things. We would hide from the school bus. And
wait.
I remember when I was in first grade, and my brothers was older than me, but we didn't want to go. They didn't want to go to school that day, so I didn't want to go to school that day, and so we went to the bus stop early, and we just climbed up in the tree, and everybody else came. We was really quiet and didn't tell nobody we was up in the tree, and so the bus came and left, and we laid out of school that day. Isn't that something? Thinking about things like that.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, so I just wanted to say, we just want to talk about some of these things, and we're glad to have Peggy, and Peggy's sitting over there because she's taking care of her granddaughter. And so if you heard a little bit, that would have been Naomi.
And Peggy's got a farm,
Yes.
but not a lot of animals
We
yet.
do.
Yeah.
They have a farm.
You have goats
And
and
chickens.
turkeys and chickens. Yes. All right. Maybe something else later. You thinking about anything new?
I think we if we get more land, we might get cattle.
Yeah.
We want to get
Yeah.
cattle, and we'll probably get sheep too.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so this is Grace Grannies, and I hope you have better canning experiences than some of mine. But anyway, I did enjoy the show.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
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 I got to see Grandma in action, teaching Mama and then going up the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
was fun.
That's
Yeah.
right. So whatever you know that you enjoy doing, maybe you want to pass it on to your grandchildren or friends.
Maybe share some of your stories in the comments too, because
Yes.
we have a lot of people listen to those comments, and we all need a good laugh. We might need a good cry. I don't know, depending on what happened. But anyway, this is Grace Grannies, and I'm Tina.
I'm Sharon.
I'm Jane.
We'll talk to you later.